What's up YouTube? Welcome back to another bike review. Today I'm going to be talking about the 2020 Fiend Type R. This correlates with the post I just did about some bikes in 2020 that don't suck, where I talked about bikes that I thought were definitely worth the price. So let's get right into the 2020 Fiend Type R. Alright, so this is the most expensive Fiend bike in 2020, and it's just over $700. A lot of money, I know. But it has everything that a pro rider would need so that they can keep killing it. It's on a whole new level because of the aftermarket parts that it comes with. It's like the Reynolds sprocket and a sealed freecoaster. Some of the highlights is that it's full chromoly. Unfortunately, it's well over $500, but it has double wall rims, comes with 4 pegs, hub guards, fully sealed bearings, 3-piece cranks, and a free coaster. It has some other parts, and like one of those parts is the bash guard on the sprocket. And this is really cool because I can only think of maybe 5 complete bikes that come with something like that. So I think that's awesome. Let's talk about some of the specs. The price, like I said, it's $709. This is a lot of money. Towards the end of the video, I'll talk about whether this is worth it or not. It comes in a flat brown color. It kind of looks like root beer. It's not my favorite color, but it is like a clean Garrett Reynolds type look, if that makes any sense. The parts, some of the important parts that it comes with is the full chromoly frame, 100% chromoly forks and bars. It's got a Fiend Matrix top load stem with a 50mm reach. If you don't know what that means, go to my website, check out. I have spec reviews. It talks about what the reach on a stem is. I'm not going to get into it in this video, but head over there, check that out. It comes with double wall Mission Mylar rims, Innova Street 2.4-inch tires. To be honest, I don't think these tires are that great, so that might be something that you look at upgrading later on. However, it has the Fiend Reynolds sprocket with a 25 tooth, and it comes with that bash guard and the 4 pegs and the hub guards. I think that's super sick. So now I'm going to hop over to the frame geometry. I'm going to talk about the specs of the frame and tell you what it means, why it's important, and what kind of style of riding it's designed for. So it's got a 20.75-inch top tube. For people who are around 5'6" to about 6 foot, this will be a good top tube length for you. The chainstay is 13 inches, and this is, I'd say, a medium length chainstay. Some really responsive frames are down in like 12.5, 12.2, while the more controllable frames are closer to 14 inches. So this is right in the middle. This gives you a good balance of, snappy responsiveness and then just flowy style riding, which I think is super important for people who don't have a defined style yet. So if you're just kind of figuring out what you want to do riding wise, it's good to have a chainstay length that's right in the middle like this one. It's got a 75.5-inch head tube angle. This is a little bit steeper than most, so it's going to make nose manuals feel a lot easier, and the front end is going to be really responsive with steering. And then the last thing is the 8.5-inch standover height. Again, I'd say this is about a medium-sized standover, so it's right there in the middle. It gives you a good balance with control with bars so that there's enough seat tube to pinch, but it's also low enough that you're not going to kill yourself trying whips. It's good that those two things are balanced, the chainstay and the standover. Definitely like that. So, is it worth the price? In my opinion, it definitely is, and that's why I put it in that list of bikes that don't suck. Even though it's really expensive, it's built to like top line quality, and it's also got some aftermarket parts that make it definitely worth the money. What tricks can you do with it? So this bike, not many bikes I can say this for. However, this bike, you could do just about any kind of tricks on it. Whether it's, you want to learn backflips or you want a 720 down a stair set, the parts on here are going to hold up for that kind of riding. So really, whatever you're trying to learn, this bike's going to be okay for it. Another question I get a lot is how much does this bike weigh? And it's really hard to find the Fiend bikes, like looking on the sites that actually sell them. It says to be determined, and that's partially because the line just came out. However, if you go over to the website and you go to like the package information, it says that the bike weighs 30 pounds. So what kind of rider is this bike for? I classify this Type R bike as like a pro level bike, meaning that it can withstand riding from pro level riders. And that's because of the full chromoly, the double wall rims, the aftermarket parts. It's just a really strong bike. So you should get this bike if you're aspiring to ride at that level. However, this is not a good first bike. If you're looking, you're a beginner or a mid-level rider, you shouldn't get this bike. It's too much to spend on a bike, especially if you're not sure where you're at with the sport. Now, if you're already doing, bar spins, tail whips, some 360s, and your bike is taking a lot of abuse from you, this is a good bike to upgrade to, because it's going to withstand to your riding and it's going to help you get to the next level. And that's really important, to not waste your money on a bike you don't need. So while I don't think there's many people who need this bike or who would be a good fit for this bike, it's important to review. That way that the newer level riders don't get sucked into a $709 bike that they don't need. Now, if you are at that level, congrats, and that's awesome. I'm excited for you. This is a great bike for you. And so that's the Type R. All right, so I hope that this review was very helpful for you in finding the perfect bike. If you want a little more in-depth version of this review, I have one written out on my website, and I'll post the link below. It just goes a lot more in depth and talks about things that I didn't cover in this video. So if you're interested, check that out. If you want to check out more video bike reviews, somewhere floating around here is a button. You can just click on it. It'll take you to the playlist with all the bike reviews I've done. And I'm always adding more, so make sure you subscribe. I have a huge goal this year to do hundreds of bike reviews, hundreds of part reviews. So make sure that you get notified when I post one of those. That's pretty good.